Well, this week, President Biden announced that he would be pardoning thousands of Americans convicted of simple marijuana possession under federal law. This puts the administration that much closer to its goal of decriminalization. According to FBI data, more than 170,000 of the roughly 490,000 drug possession arrests are related to marijuana in the year of 2021. Now, the president is now calling on governors to issue similar pardons for those convicted of state marijuana offenses. Some governors, though, already saying no, most notably Texas Governor Greg Abbott, in what is amounting to the latest quarrel between the two leaders. And joining me now to talk more about this reform is Jessica Jackson, the Chief Advocacy Officer at Reform Alliance. Jessica, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on, Natasha.
So we know that marijuana offenses have disproportionately affected communities of color. How could pardoning those convicted help heal these communities?
Yes, so it's not just about the actual act of pardoning. It's unlocking doors that have been closed in their faces by those convictions. They've been unable to access housing, unable to access employment opportunities, unable to get an education. There's thousands of collateral consequences that come with each conviction. So the pardons are going to wipe those collateral consequences away and give people an actual opportunity to succeed. There's about 6,500 people in the federal system who are going to get a pardon, as well as thousands more in D.C. And as you said, the president has called on all the governors in our country to do the same thing in their state so that hopefully even more people can get their second chance.
Yeah, but already several governors saying no, and certainly not everyone believes in decriminalizing marijuana. We know Texas Governor Greg Abbott is among those who's spoken out against the move. He says he will not pardon marijuana offenses on a state level, and he's joined by governors in Louisiana, in Arkansas, and Ohio as well. I want to bring up a spokesperson for Abbott saying, quote, Texas is not in the habit of taking criminal justice advice from the leader of the defund police party and someone who has overseen a criminal justice system run amok with cashless bail and a revolving door for violent criminals. I want to ask, how do you respond to that perspective?
Well, I think there's a couple of responses. First, Governor Abbott, with all due respect, is completely wrong about Joe Biden's stance on funding police, on the criminal justice system, et cetera. He's also wrong in saying that criminal justice reform is going to lead to a system gone amok. What we've seen is years of tough on crime policies that have failed and actually resulted in very high recidivism rates and high fiscal waste when it comes to taxpayer resources. In fact, what we've seen is that the states that have enacted reforms have given us the data to show that if you actually invest in people and address the reasons why they're committing crime, including substance abuse and addiction, you see much lower rates of crime and recidivism. So he's wrong on that account. He's also far out of step with the American people. 27 states have legalized at this point. Over 2 out of every 3 American adults, including 60% of Texas adults, believe that we need to legalize marijuana at this point. I believe it was 83% of Texas adults believe that we need to at least legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes. So he's way out of step with his own state. It's unfortunate that he has said that he is not going to push on his Board of Pardons and Paroles to do this, but we do see other governors following suit, and some even doing this beforehand, like Governor Tom Wolf in Pennsylvania.
And Jessica, in the time we have left, I just want to ask, certainly understand your perspective and the work that you do on all of this. A little more about life after being pardoned. What do you believe that these men and women can do with their lives that they're just not able to do now?
Well, I'll tell you, I've worked in this field for 15 plus years, and I've met so many men and women who have come home from our prisons, who have taken accountability for the bad decisions they made and who have completely turned their lives around. Many of them go on to be the best employee at their company, go on to raise families, go on to be successful tax-paying citizens. And I believe this is unlocking the opportunity for every single one of those men and women who get this pardon to do the same.
All right, Jessica Jackson, certainly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.